Hey there, this is K4A, Knowledge for All educational videos and tutorials, and in this video today we are going to learn how to use feature button which will help us to alternate or use the opposite feature of your tool. It will be easier to see that in practice than to explain it in words, but the whole idea is to use the opposite of the tool which you are currently using. So for example, with the clay or brush I'm adding the detail, but if I want to use the opposite of it, it would be like I'm subtracting or taking off some detail like this. I'm making a dent, I'm making a hole, indentation. So you can see that if I rotate it, which I'm not really good with this right now. Anyway, I will undo it. Same with, let's see here, maybe it's better to use it on the top of the head. Brush. So by default, brush tool will add detail, will create the mass on the sculpt. It's like you put more on it, but we want the opposite, and the opposite is like making a indentation, making a hole. You can see like better here. It's like using like a shovel or something like that to dig a hole. To do this, which I just did, is as simple as pressing the Alt button on your keyboard, Alt keyboard on your keyboard. So I'm in clay and I use it by default like this. If I press Alt, I dig instead of add. So I made a hole in the ground. You see, you will use this a lot, and that's why it's binded to your keyboard. And you will use this not only with those two tools, clay and brush. We will see in a few moments that you can use it on other. That's why I was announcing this video as how to use the opposite of the tool, the alternate version, and that's a good maybe name, because that's how you're going to remember to use the Alt button, Alt keyboard. Alt as alternative, Alt as alternative to what I'm using now. In this case it's clay, it's adding, and the Alt is subtracting. So you see, I made a hole in his head. You're not going to use probably this as much as I did, but that was just for showing you what is working. You can see that in your Nomad Sculpt, when I press Alt, how this on your left sub becomes active and becomes red, and when I release my button Alt on my keyboard, it becomes white again. So you can also just by default go to clay or brush, then click on the sub, and instead of adding detail, I will now subtract like the name says. But I have used the Alt on my keyboard for the same thing, because again it's much easier for me to work that way, and you will have to if you work a lot and sculpt a lot, and you go to professional sculpting as your work or whatever. You will need to create as fast as possible, so probably your left hand, if you're right-handed, your left hand will be on the keyboard using the Shift for smooth, which we have learned in previous videos, Alt for subtraction, and so on, alternative version of your tool. and right hand will be using the graphic tablet pen and so on. So what I wanted to show here, so instead of brush and clay tool, I will now pick, I think, crease or something like that. So crease is great tool. I really love this tool. I loved it in Sculptris. Sculptris had this tool before ZBrush, and it was much better. And this tool, in short, is it's like a knife when you want to cut something or make a dent, but very precise, very fine. It's like almost like you have a pencil and you draw. So take a look. If I, for example, want to make his cheeks more aggressive, more how to say, I have just used the crease on it, and it cuts the detail. Again, it depends on how you're going to use it and when. We're going to learn that in next videos. So for example, you want to add more details to eyes and so on, or maybe nostrils and so on. But opposite of cutting of detail is invert. It's like adding on the top of your sculpt. So this would be the crease. Again, we're cutting, and when I press Alt, I go into the alternative version, which is invert, and now I'm adding. So you can see, maybe not very clear, but the first one cut into his head, and the second one added on top of it. So again, the whole idea here is just to show you that you can, pressing Alt button on your keyboard, you can go to the alternative version of your tool, and that's what you're going to use lots. Whatever you create, it doesn't matter if it's realistic or cartoon look or whatever, you will just switch from the default version of your tool to alternative, meaning if I use the clay to add detail, I will press Alt to subtract details, and so on. Simple and easy, and similar to smooth, which we have learned in previous videos. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you in next one. Bye for now.